Good afternoon, Westminster! Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, welcome to Simon Thompson's leaving party! What an incredible turnout here. Even more people here in Westminster than Simon Thompson has in a room when he's doing an interview with the BBC. I was thinking about how to open the rally today and seeing the incredible scenes, people getting on planes this morning in Scotland, planes in Wales, in Northern Ireland, coaches at 2 o'clock in the morning in Cornwall, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of CWU members all coming to London to say just 2 words: turn out! Thompson out! Thompson out! Thompson out! Thompson out! Thompson out! Today, we collectively turn the tables on the employers. They have many, many advantages over us. They have the money, they have the establishment, they have politicians, and they have the media. But what they don't have is what money cannot buy, what comes from inside here, what every single one of you have got. Pride, togetherness, solidarity, and a working class spirit. The mentality that sees people get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get down here to Westminster to say, enough is enough. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. Today, despite all of their bollocks, and we've seen a lot of that, haven't we? Let's be honest about it. But despite all that, today the tables are turned. Today, it's 115,000 of us versus a few of them in their suits. Every single day of the year, they've been at your General Secretary. They've been at your branches. They've been at your reps. And we know they've been at you every single day in the workplace. Not today, though. Today belongs to you. Victory to the CWU and victory to the postal workers. And we have got... Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Today, we are not alone here. There are a lot of workers who have been taking strike action. And we believe as a union that you are the pride of the trade union movement. I just spoke to a gentleman in blue wearing a police helmet, and he said to me that the square now, which has a 15,000 capacity, is full, and all the police is seeing on their cameras all over London is pink coming into flood. But you're going to hear from some brilliant trade union leaders today. And if we're truly going to change society, we have to realise that it isn't just us, yeah? And we have to realise that this is a coordinated attack on working class people. So we want to know, really, really easy exam for you all, by the way. I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is yes. Yeah? You're going to give me that. Are you going to do everything possible to support the railway workers? Will you support the teachers and the lecturers when they go out? Will you support the nurses when they take action? And will you stand up every single day until we remove Thompson from Royal Mail? We want Thompson out. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. Now, we have got some brilliant, brilliant speakers here today. You're going to hear from them. And then, with the will of our friends in blue I mentioned earlier, we're going to go on a little walk. But more about that in a second, yeah? You couldn't bring a load of posties to London and not take them on a walk. Come on. Well, we've got some brilliant speakers. I also want to mention Anne-Marie, who's our signer, doing an incredible job. Give it up for Anne-Marie. Now, our first speaker, you'd all know that our Deputy General Secretary, Terry Pullinger, is off, so best wishes to Terry. But this guy has stepped in and done an incredible job. Now, Royal Mail, many, many times probably have thought that they've had this union and you down during this dispute. They probably thought they've delivered a knockout blow or two. So what better a person to help us get off the canvas than a Fury? Please welcome Acting Deputy General Secretary Postal, Andy Fury.
Wow, this is overwhelming. How amazing is this? Postal workers unite. We're going to win, aren't we? I'm so overwhelmed. I'm almost speechless. The first thing I'd like to say on behalf of the Postal Executive and my fellow officers is a big thank you to you all. You all deserve a round of applause. You're brilliant. Well done, all of you. And that also applies to those on the picket lines back in the branches. 1,500 workplaces. Let's hear it for our pickets. And of course, all of our members. This is the 13th strike since the end of August. 13 days and another 5 to come before Christmas. But this is not just a dispute for Christmas. This is a dispute for the new year if we can't get Simon Thompson to see sense. Now, you're going to hear it here first. The Postal Executive this week has decided a new ballot timetable for a new ballot. On the 16th of January, we will be serving 7 days' notice on the employer to do a new ballot for job security, pay and change. On the 23rd of January, ballot papers will be sent out and our members will deliver them to our members. And on the 13th of February, you are going to deliver a magnificent yes vote, and we are going to seek to beat the 97% yes vote that you delivered in the summer. Are we going to do that? And what will that tell Simon Thompson? That we want him. So we're going to go again. This union, our members will not give up. We will not be defeated, and we will stand resolute and determined. We have to win this dispute. It's about the future of Royal Mail as a service. It's about the public. We deliver to 32 million addresses 6 days a week, parcels and letters. This is the whole of the Royal Mail group. Every single one of our members deserves job security. Now, they got the audacity to say that it's not about compulsory redundancy. Well, it bloody well is. They want to make our members compulsory redundant. And if you've got a bad sick record or you've got a conduct hanging over your head, you'll be the first one out the door if they have their way. Are we having that? We will not tolerate compulsory redundancies in this industry. This is an iconic industry. We are a great service. We've been there for over 500 years, and there is no need for compulsory redundancies whatsoever. If the company wants to save money, and bearing in mind it made £758 million last year, that's what you delivered for Royal Mail. You made that profit. We are not going to give in. We are going to be there to the bitter end. Justice is on our side. And here's a message to Simon Thompson. We will not tolerate or allow our members to be disciplined, our reps to be suspended. We will not have victimisation. We will ensure that justice prevails for each and every one, and we will not leave anybody behind. So this is disputes not just for Christmas. This dispute will carry on into 2023. And I know that you will be with us every single step of the way, as indeed will our 115,000 members. The ACAS talks this week, they've not been negotiations. Dave and I have been in those talks on Tuesday and Wednesday. We put forward a reasonable and sensible plan because we want an agreement. We want an agreement. Let nobody tell you otherwise. We want an agreement, but it has to be the right agreement. It has to be one that you can support and that one you can say that would do for us. That agreement must have job security at the centre of that agreement. It needs to ensure people have got a future. Pay is fine. We can deal with pay. I'm sure we can find a way through pay. But what we're not having deliveries put back by 3 hours a day. No way are we moving deliveries. We've got to ensure that we're there for the public when they need us. We've got to ensure a decent service going forward. We will win. Solidarity and unity will win. And I'll leave you with this point. You are Royal Mail. And without you, there is no Royal Mail. Solidarity and unity. Thanks very much, everybody. Thompson out. Thompson out. Thank you.
Make some noise for Andy, everyone. We want Thompson out. Okay. Right, you're going to hear from some brilliant... The flag's doing another round, bloody hell. You're going to hear from some brilliant speakers and brilliant trade union leaders today, yeah? One of the things that we pride ourselves as a union, unlike Royal Mail in their propaganda where they're using actors and actresses, if we put videos and content in front of you, we use our own members. And we felt it was important today, as well as having... Is the flags coming back? As well as having that presence from our union leaders. Here we go. Get the flag come back. Bring it in then. Bring it all the way. Hey! Yes, coming over. Right, okay. Here it is. Here you go. Oh, you're all back. You're all looking gorgeous. Bring it in then. Oh, the Cornish flag's flying high. Well done. That's nice to see. It's like Glastonbury, isn't it? Well, let that flag go in, then we'll kick off. It's a massive flag, isn't it? Yeah. Flag power, yeah. Our flag's bigger than yours, Simon. Right. It's in? You think it's in? Right, okay. So I was saying... that it's important that the union, and you hear from some great trade union leaders, and we have got some brilliant leaders of the movement who are going to address you today. But when Royal Mail do their proper, we've caught them out time and time again, haven't we? With actors, with actresses using. When the union tries to do something, we either put up your elected leaders or we come to you as frontline postal workers. So we felt today that we wanted you to hear from one of your own, a poster, yeah? So you're going to hear from Amy. Amy's really nervous. First time speaking in front of a crowd. Make her feel really, really, really welcome. Please welcome to the stage, one of your own, Amy Ash.
Thank you very much. As Chris said, I'm extremely nervous. Good afternoon, first of all. Very nervous, but stick with me. My name's Amy Ash. And I'm a postal worker. I'm also a CWU member. And I'm really proud to be both. I'm also proud to be here today on a platform with some amazing speakers and union leaders. But it's also right that one of us gets to say a few words, and I'm honoured that that person is me. I have a message for 3 groups of people today. 1, the public. 2, senior managers. And 3, you, my colleagues. To the public, I want to set the record straight. Yes, part of this strike is about pay. But for me and thousands of my colleagues, it's about our jobs and the service we provide to you. We love our job. We do not want to be on strike. No one wants to be on strike. But we simply cannot afford to stand by and watch them destroy our terms and conditions and the service that we love to provide. To the managers, wake up! If this happens to us, it will happen to you. If they cut our jobs, you're next. And to the most senior managers, boo 'em. To the most senior managers who take massive bonuses whilst telling us there's nothing left for us postal workers. Shame on you! Last of all, to my colleagues, my workmates, my friends, deliveries, processing, distribution, admin, engineering, fleet, parcel force and more. We are as one. Times are very hard at the moment, but we cannot and we will not back down. We stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before us, and we lay the path for those who come after us. We have a duty, and I know it's one we will fulfill for however long it takes. I'll finish on this. Some people say being a CEO is hard. Well, try being a postal worker then. Simon Thompson could never do my job. But after watching him on the BBC with someone writing answers on a whiteboard for him, I'm damn sure I could do his. Solidarity, never give in, CW and proud. Thank you very much. Thanks again. And hello to my mum. My mum is somewhere in the crowd, so hello, Mum.
Hello, Mum. Amy's mum. Amy's mum. Amy's mum. Amy's mum. Poor Dave Ward's just said he's got nothing left to say. Yeah, you said it, wasn't you? Okay, so another group of people, and we really want you to take some thought on this, that are carrying a tremendous amount of pressure and getting absolutely battered on a daily basis, is our local reps. So make some noise for the local CW reps in every office. And we are seeing what can not only be described as fit-ups right across the country of our reps being targeted, being taken out of the workplace on spurious charges. They are trying to remove your reps so they can get directly to you. So make some noise if you back your local reps. Our next speaker, who is going to speak on the attacks on our representatives, most importantly, what this union is going to do about it. Please welcome to the stage North Wales North West Division, Ian Taylor.
Good evening, Westminster. Boy, this is pretty overwhelming, quite impressive. But it would be remiss of us to come here today and not make mention of the representatives we've got suspended up and down the country for doing absolutely nothing in the vast majority of cases. And Chris has touched on it. There's a reason they're attacking the representatives. There's a good reason. They're attacking the representatives because they're the best representatives in the world and best representatives in the country. And they want them out of the way so they can get at you. Because that's the game in town, is removing the union out of the workplace. Make no mistake about that, folks. It's moving the union out of the workplace, and I know you're not going to have it. I can see the tremendous support out here for those representatives, but what I want us to do is make a little bit of noise for them and their families and their children, for the concern and worry that some of them must be feeling. But our message to the CEO and to Royal Mail and to you is that we're going to deal with that. We're not going to let them be left to wither out there. So there are a couple of things. One, we're calling for an independent inquiry because we're more than happy for there to be scrutiny, because we know in the vast majority of cases they have been fitted up. We know that. They are spurious, and we're not going to allow that to happen. But the other thing we're going to say, and I'll finish, if they don't want there to be an independent inquiry, because quite likely they're not going to allow that to happen, because they'll be afraid of the scrutiny. If that doesn't happen, I want you to make as much noise as you possibly can to send a message to the CEO and in support of those families that are worried because their father, their mother, their sister, their brother have been suspended from work for merely standing up for their colleagues and friends. If you agree that Dave Ward, the postal executive, this union does not put a pen to a piece of paper on any deal until each and every one of those who have been justly been removed from work are back at work, then enough said, folks. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, Ian. I think he's just made some policy there as well. Right, okay, so trade union leaders. So the other thing I want to speak to you about, we deliberately didn't ask any politicians to come and speak today because this struggle is about working class people and like trade unions. But what we have to say is there's about a dozen or so MPs down there who have come today to show their support, and people who have been on every single picket line since you've been on strike. So give them some noise. Who here remembers a time in a land forgotten about 2 years ago when we were all popular and everyone came out and applauded us and told we were key workers and thanked and told we were keeping the company going and told we were keeping the country connected? Who remembers that time? Do you remember that? There was another group of workers, and that's our teachers, who kept the country going. And they were under extreme pressure with COVID in their classrooms, and they were under extreme pressure from a vicious right-wing Tory government who were putting pressure on them day after day after day. And after going in, after getting the education system back on its feet, what is their reward? Their reward is told there's not enough money for a proper pay rise for you. Shame on the government for attacking those teachers. But, there's a but, because the but is the same as the but in this dispute, is that the National Education Union are not having that. And they are balloting their members for national strike action right now. Please welcome to the stage to deliver a solidarity speech the General Secretary of the National Education Union, Kevin Courtney.
Thank you very much. What an amazing crowd. I'm here to bring solidarity from the National Education Union, and I want to tell you, our members teach your sons and daughters, your grandchildren, and we want you to win for those children. Our members are often your brothers and sisters, your sons and daughters, and we want you to win for them. We want you to win for every working person in this country, and we are confident you are going to win. And we say to you that when you do win, it'll be a victory as well for every Amazon warehouse drone, for every Uber driver who is seeking a better life, for every nurse and teacher and railway worker who wants a pay rise. But I'm here to say to you most of all that we agree with you about Simon Thompson, that Simon Thompson has got to go. We know Simon Thompson's type. We know his type. We know that he wants to treat working people like the dirt off the boss's shoes. And we know that bosses have done that before. My dad was a factory worker, a lorry mechanic, worked on a factory on the Treforest Industrial Estate. That was a good job with a good pension, a strong union, respect at work. But look what the bosses have done to the jobs that have replaced the miners, the steel workers, those factory jobs, and they've replaced them with 0 hours, with no pension, ununionized, and no respect for people at work. And that's what Thompson wants to do with you. And that's why we say Thompson out, Thompson out. We want you to win, and that victory will be a victory for every working person in this country, for every nurse, railway worker and teacher that wants a pay rise. And we know there is a change of mood in this country. And we know that for a very long time, working people have been quiescent, far too quiet, and they are waking up. And you can see that in the nurses' strikes, in the railway strikes, in the balloting of the NEU and the NHT and the NASUWT. Working people are waking up and they are saying enough is enough. And that changing mood is frightening the government over there. And it's frightening Simon Thompson too. Simon Thompson is frightened of your solidarity, of your collectivity, of your organisation. And I know you are going to win. We know because Dave Ward has told us, because the CWU has told us, because they've told the country that the Royal Mail Group made 758 million profit last year, and they gave 567 million to shareholders in dividends and share buyback, and they say they can't do a deal. Simon Thompson is just a bully. There's a deal to be done. Thompson out, Thompson out. Victory to the RMT, victory to the nurses, victory to the lecturers, victory to the teachers, but most of all today, victory to the CWU, victory to the postal workers.
Brilliant, Kevin. We might have a request when the Education Union goes on strike that we get some of the maths teachers maybe to come and give Simon Thompson some lessons, because I'll tell you what, it fucking takes something to turn £758 million profit into £1 million day of loss, doesn't it, eh? That's bloody Carol Vorderman style, isn't it? Right, our next speaker, we obviously bring you today, and I hope you're feeling it, and you're feeling that unity. You're having people who perhaps you've never met before today, but people who are just like you, going through the struggles in different offices, coming together, and you're feeling that solidarity and you're feeling that strength. But our next speaker represents the whole of the trade union movement. So I want to give a massive, massive welcome to the newly elected General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, Paul Novak. Welcome to Paul.
But brothers and sisters, what a fantastic turnout. A sea of pink filling Parliament Square, sending a clear message to your employer. I am absolutely privileged to be here with you today to bring greetings and solidarity on behalf of the TUC, our 48 unions, 5.5 million men and women up and down the country, standing in solidarity with the CWU, with every single one of you here today. And I just want to start by thanking you, thanking your union, because there are days when I am proud to be a trade unionist, and this is one of those days. So thanks to your reps and activists, thanks to the wonderful Dave Ward, your General Secretary who's led this union. But above all, thanks to every single postal worker who stood on those picket lines, stood proud to be union, proud to be the CWU. Now, these are the sort of times when we have to ask ourselves the question, whose side are we on? Whose side are we on? Are we on the side of the rail bosses who hand out hundreds of millions of pounds in dividends to shareholders and then attack the paying conditions of rail workers? Are we on their side? Are we on the side of the government ministers who hand out, oh, yeah, you're ahead of me there, who hand out hundreds of millions of pounds to their mates in the private healthcare industry and then tell paramedics and nurses there's no money to pay their wages? Are we on their side? And above all today, are we on the side of Simon Thompson and that senior management team who give themselves bumper bonuses and tell you to take pay cuts and want to casualise your industry and want to put redundancies on the table? Are we on his side? Or are we on the side of the nurses, the paramedics, the railway workers, the university lecturers, the civil servants? Above all, are we on the side of postal workers? Now listen, Kevin said it, and this rally today demonstrates it. The mood is changing. There is something stirring in Britain's workplaces. Something stirring. People are saying enough is enough, and they are standing together. They're taking action. They're taking on their employers. And the response of this government tells you everything you need to know about Rishi Sunak and his party on the backbenches over there. Because rather than trying to resolve the reasons why people are on strike, rather than delivering a pay rise for working people, they want to demonise unions and attack our right to strike, and we won't have it. So I think we should send a very clear message here today to Rishi Sunak, to those Conservative backbenchers. We will defend the right to strike, and we'll fight for the right to strike in the courts, industrially, in Parliament. We'll defend the right to strike and we'll win. And if he manages to get a little bit of legislation through the House of Commons, let's be clear, we're going to vote them out at the ballot box as well. And let's elect a government, a Labour government, to repeal the anti-trade union legislation, restore the right to strike, bring our public services back into public ownership, and deliver a new deal for working people up and down this country. This is the last point that I want to make, and I want to make this to every single CWU member out there in this crowd. The TUC, our unions, are behind you. Your union will never stand alone. Together, we will win this dispute. Together, we're going to win a fair pay deal for Royal Mail workers. Together, we're going to stop the race to the bottom on terms and conditions. And together, we're going to stop Simon Thompson taking a 500-year-old public service relied on by tens of millions of people in this country and turning it into a platform employer. We won't allow it. Together, we're going to fight, campaign, strike. Together, we're going to win. Solidarity, comrades.
Come on, Paul. All right, everyone. Okay. Some great flags here. Some great Thompson Out banners you've made for yourself. It's brilliant. It's a Cornish flag over there. This is brilliant. I just saw a Portsmouth Football Club flag over there, and I just thought to myself, must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice for them to see a crowd, wouldn't it? Yeah, get in there. Argyle-related joke. Okay. Our next speaker is somebody who has also led national strike action. Very similar to you. A sector full of money, but the money in the wrong places, going to the bosses, going to the buildings, going to the vanity projects. but the UCU, University and College Lecturers Union, have staged 3 days of strike action, 70,000 people smashing their national ballots, massive picket lines, massive rally a week or so in King's Cross. Please welcome to the stage the leader of the UCU, Joe Grady.
Hello, everyone. So I've been told all I have to say on this stage is Thompson out, and I'll get a cheer. Hey! Let's do it. I go Thompson, you say out. Thompson, Thompson, Thompson. Thank you. Oh, we can do that all day. Chris has just said, I'm here today and I represent 130,000 members who work in universities, they work in colleges across the UK, and we have been striking this year over pay, pensions and working conditions. We've delivered, much like you, a record ballot and historic picket lines, and like you, we are going to win our dispute. Like you, we face employers who have nothing to offer us and take the money for our sector for themselves. And I'm here today saying on behalf of UCU members and saying to you, enough is enough. When I think of postal workers, I think of someone I trust. I think of community and I think of togetherness. When I think of Simon Thompson, I think of someone who is out of touch, out of his depth, and do you know what? Soon to be out of his job. When I think of postal workers, I also think about our picket lines, when we have been stood in the freezing cold, sometimes wet through, and do you know what? A posties pulled up at our picket lines. They've said, are you lot on strike? We've said, yeah, we are. And they said, fuck that then, and turn the van around. That is solidarity. That is what the bosses will never, ever feel. So everyone, these disputes, and you know this, they're about inches. And today, there's bloody loads of you. Take a look to your left, take a look to your right. You're going to see someone who are going to go those extra inches with you. There's obviously an in-joke down here at the front about inches, and I know what it's about, but you are together today. You are together with people you might not see again, actually, in your lives, but you are standing in front of me right now, united, powerful, an unbeatable block of support. It would be wrong, before I get down, if I didn't pay tribute, not just to all of you, but to your amazing General Secretary, Dave Ward. Shall we hear it for Dave? I'll finish on this. A postie is for life, not just for Christmas. They are never coming through you. They are never beating you, and they are never going to break your spirit. One more thing before I go. I'm going to say union, you're going to say power. Union! 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 Solidarity forever and victory to the CWU.
Come on. Okay, we've got just 2 more speakers left before we go on a little walk. Our next speaker is the leader of a union doing an amazing job. And I don't know if any of you have been catching the media lately. What performances by the RMT. Give the RMT a shout out. RMT, 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 RMT. Please give a hell of a noise up for the General Secretary of the RMT, Mick Lynch.
You've got the full dome, not the hat. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to bring you the solidarity of the National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport workers, who are united with the workers in the Post Office and the Royal Mail in facing down some of the biggest gits in our society.
And I'm also standing in front of you as the proud son of a postal worker, a postman, as they used to be called, who took the full action back in 1971. He got a bit unlucky. He'd only been at the firm 3 weeks and he was out for 7 weeks. But anyway, that's the way it goes. And what's coming back, everyone says, oh, bring back the 70s and all this. I'll tell you what we were having in the 70s. We were moving forward as a working class. We were creating change in our society. We were winning wage disputes. We had a Labour government, although we didn't always get on with it sometimes, who put forward legislation in our favour, legislation in favour of equal rights for women, equal rights for racial minorities and ethnic minorities in our country. We were moving forward with working class power with new values. And as Kevin said, for too long we've been too quiet. And what we've got now is unity. And they're trying to divide us. If you look at what the pundits say in the Daily Mail, the Daily Bile as I call it, all the right-wing media, all the commentators, they all hate us. Why do they hate us? Because they're scared of us. What they're scared of is redistribution of wealth and power in this country. And what this union movement stands for is change going forward. And it starts with these strikes about pay and conditions, and it moves on to making a fairer, equal society for all of us, where the super rich have to pay us to do our work, where our children have got a future, where our older community have got the right to live in dignity and wealth in the future, where our children can expect a world that's full of expectation for them, not a world based on the gig economy, based on outsourcing, based on casualisation, where they can hope for a future. And let me tell you now, the trade unions are the hope of the working class, and we are going to deliver change for our people. Now, I'm a bit under the weather, so I won't go on too long. But what I can tell you is there is a change coming. The people are ready for it. And there's another group of our Labour movement that's got to wake up and say, whose side are we on? They're over there. The Labour Party and all those professional politicians, they've got to ask themselves, where were you in 22 when workers were standing up and fighting against oppression, fighting for their jobs, fighting for their conditions and fighting for a wage? And I'm saying to Starmer and Reeves and anyone else that seeks to represent working people, whose side are you on? Come out of there, come over here and get on our picket lines. And if you want to represent working people, if you want our votes, come out and show that you identify with us, with our cause and with our strikes, and show us that you want us to win a world of change, a future for our people. And we're going to stand up as trade unionists, change this country for the better, and we're going to win for the working class. Victory to the posties, victory to the railwaymen, victory to all workers in our country. Take care and have a great Christmas of solidarity. See you soon.
Right. I misled the rally slightly just then when I said we only had 2 more speakers left with Mick. We actually have got 1 more speaker, then we've got our General Secretary. We did invite the CEO of Royal Mail to come and address the rally today. We did, yeah? He couldn't make it, yeah? He couldn't make it, I don't know what. But he has sent his most impressive and important aide to come and address you. So I'm just going to bring him on. Welcome to Royal Mail. We want Thompson out, say we want Thompson out. We want Thompson out. Say, we want Thompson out. All right, okay. Our final speaker, definitely final this time, I promise you. Right. Simon Thompson and his cronies are about a mile and a half from here. The Prime Minister and his cronies are just a few hundred yards away, yeah? Boo to both of them, yeah? Both of those groups of people. This guy who leads our union in his election address 7 years ago said, we're going to take this union and we're going to give it back to the members. That was a pledge from Dave Ward, General Secretary, when he was elected leader of this union. Today, more than any other day in the history of this union belongs to its members. But you're going to welcome him on stage now, and I want Thompson's fucking windows to shatter. With your neck to be lifted off his dress. Welcome onto the stage, our General Secretary, Dave Ward!
Look, you know, people, thanks everybody, thanks. But listen, come on. Shh. You do know we do this for you, don't you? People say that this has got personal. And my response is, yeah, personal to 120,000 decent working people who are fighting for their jobs and fighting for the service they love to provide. Do you feel it personal? I've got to say, I want to pay tribute to all of our members, all of our representatives, and all of the wonderful people who make up the postal worker family, now known as posties. And do you know what? I never forget what it was like when I first became a postal worker. I didn't think that there was much going in life at the time, and I walked into my old office, Tooting SDO. If there's any of you out there, put your hands up, Tooting, come on. I walked into there, and I knew immediately that I'd met some great people. I'd met people who would look after you no matter what, who would look after your families when you were in struggle. And I felt then that this is a group of workers that this country should be proud of. Do you think they should be proud of you? I was doing some interviews earlier on, and one of the questions that they put to us is, what do you think of the customers, of the disruption to the service? So I'm going to ask you, do you love your customers? Do you want to provide that service now and going forward? Not just this Christmas, but every Christmas. Is that what you're up for? So who's stopping us? Who's stopping us providing that service? It's not our postal workers. Let's just examine where we've come from in this dispute. And we're so proud of your solidarity. We know how difficult it's becoming. We know how difficult it is for our members and their families and their loved ones. We know how difficult it is for all workers in struggle today. But we've got a cause here that is absolutely the right cause. For you as workers, for your families, and for the service we provide. We're fighting for things that we should be able to get an agreement with Royal Mail on. Let's just remind ourselves where the company came from. Because one of the things that we're seeing now is the people who have created a crisis here, the CEO and a few handful of people on the board, the chair of the company, they have not got the knowledge or the ability to lead us out of that crisis. But you have, haven't you? How about this for postal workers? Why don't we run the company? Why don't we and you? Why don't we have you on the board? You would care about the customers and provide the service, wouldn't you? No matter what. £758 million they made just months ago. Do you remember what they said to you guys when you were out there during that pandemic? When you kept the country connected, you kept the company going. Do you know 32 million addresses every single day of the week that you delivered through that pandemic? That was tough. It's tough now. You did it then. You'll do it going forward. But we've got to win this dispute. Are you up for that? That's £758 million. Well, it's now apparently turned into £1 million and more a loss a day. Every time we go in to see Simon Thompson and their negotiating team, they keep saying it's getting worse. I say it's going to continue to get worse until you come and negotiate an agreement with this union for you people. What did they do? What did they do with that money? They could see all the same things that every single one of you could see. They could see that things were getting a bit difficult out there with the economy, but they made a decision to give £567 million of that money into the hands of shareholders, major shareholders, most of whom don't come from the UK, most of whom will never put any money back into the service that you love. That ain't right, is it? Then what they did, you know this company GLS that Royal Mail owned? They decided to end the cross subsidy. £400 million that made. Now you would have thought that at that point they would have said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look after the UK infrastructure. We're going to look after postal workers. No, they separated it. They are running this company into the ground deliberately. Do you agree? Now, look, the service we provide, people come to me and they go, you do know that, letters are not delivered as much these days. And we say, hang on a second, do you think we don't understand that the world of communications is changing? But the day that you believe that modernisation is that you replace this fantastic group of workers from all parts of the UK just because you want to have the race to the bottom, because that's what they're asking us to agree. We cannot agree a situation where they kick you out the door and at the same time bring self-employed drivers in, bring owner drivers in, bring workers on less pay terms and conditions and agency workers to casualise this industry. And let me say this to you and to those workers. This is nothing against any of those workers. We want workers on proper pay, on proper jobs, proper contracts, holiday pay, sick pay. We want them to deliver Royal Mail services to the public in this country for as long as we can. Look, I know a lot of you have come a long way today. I know how much it means to you in here. And believe us, it means so much to us that you've taken the time, the effort, and that you've shown the goodwill to come down here and stand with your fellow posties. Posties are special people, aren't they? And I want you to follow us later on today. We've got something planned. This is called the Royal Mail, isn't it? We're going to keep it that way, aren't we? So we're going to have a little walk a little bit later on up to the Royal Palace to show that postal workers do stand up for the service, do stand up for the public, do believe in what we do. You're going to follow us, aren't you? Now look, let me say to you, Andy spoke earlier on, Andy Fury, best wishes to Terry Pullinger as well, our Deputy General Secretary, who's unwell at the moment. But also, well done, Andy, for stepping in and the work that you've done. Andy said earlier on about the reballot, and he gave you the timetable for that reballot. And I've got a question to ask the thousands and thousands of postal workers that are here today. Are you going to vote yes in that reballot? Are we going to do whatever it takes to win this dispute? Are we winning a fight for your jobs? Are we winning a fight for the service that we provide? I think that we're going to get there because I've never known a feeling. I've never seen so much. I've been out there, it's been overwhelming. I just want to say thank you so much for being postal workers. You are great people. We will always stand by with you, and we will win this dispute. Let's get marching.